Hi, I'm Paul Duchesne. Welcome to Mama Paul's video podcast. What I'm going to do today, I'm going to do a little preview about what I am going to do a longer story about in the future. And the preview is a preview of this book here called Living Your Design, A Manual for Reawakening, A Manual for Awakening. Let me put it up on the full screen here for a second. I made a copy of it here. Living Your Design, A New Manual for Awakening. So let's put it up. Let's try on the other side of the screen. Yeah, that works better for me, I think. Yeah. So this is a copy of the book, A New Manual for Awakening. Human design is a system, you know, astrology. So somebody's a Scorpio or a Gemini or a Libra or Aries, you know, and it explains some characteristics about your personality, and they're usually pretty accurate. Well, I'm not sure. Well, I do have an idea where this guy came from, but I won't talk about it right now. What this is what human design is the combination of astrology, astronomy, the I Ching, and the Kabbalah. And if you look at the circle over here, you'll notice the circle, if you can see it on this side here, that little circle going around the whole figure. There are 64 numbers on those circles. As there are 64 the topics in the I Ching, and there are 9. If we look at the picture of the individual there, well, maybe we'll bring it back on the big screen for a second. Yeah, put it back on the big screen. Yeah, that's better. So the circle going around there are 64 representations of the I Ching from 1 through 64, and the image in the middle, you wind up with, you see the green and the brown and the yellow and the red things going down the spinal cord section. There are ultimately 9 centers in the individual also. So what human design is, what it's giving you, it's like I said, astrology, astronomy, the I Ching, and the Kabbalah. It's explaining how your system works. And before I understood this, I would just go out and attempt to do things on my own, and sometimes they worked and sometimes they didn't. If somebody saw what I was doing and liked what I was doing and then came along and encouraged me to do it more, then things would work out for me. Example, years ago when I created Wildwood Natural Foods, I had a product. I'd been working on the idea for a long time, but it wasn't until somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, I like what you're doing. Why don't we do this together?" Boom, then it happens. In between that, one of the stories I'll talk about is the organic Twinkie. Well, nobody ever asked me to make an organic Twinkie. Nobody ever came up and said, "Gee, why don't you do that?" I had started working on it, and over the 18 to 20 year period that I worked on it, nobody once ever really said to me, "Gee, let's do this." So it was always sort of an uphill struggle. Whereas when I did the little TV show about after 9/11, and I sort of wanted to do something at the time, and I'm sitting on a bench, and this guy comes up to me who's a producer, and he's doing he's got a video setup and everything, and he produces little shows locally, and he asked me if I'll be the talent. Well, I wind up doing a show for a year. It was after that time that I found out that I was what's known as a projector. So there's a few types. There's projectors, there's generators, there's manifestors, there's manifest generators, and there are reflectors. I'm the kind of person who, if I start something up on my own and somebody else doesn't come along to join in with it, forget about it. I'm there to provide the idea for it. And in terms of how I communicate, generally speaking, the less goes through my head, the more just comes out of me, the more accurate it is. So if I talk directly to the camera from what I feel inside of me, it's generally better than if I try to type something out and read it. That's another aspect of this whole thing. Some people are meant to be workers, some people are meant to be thinkers, and some people are meant to be, well, the manifest generator is somebody who can think of something and do it. The workers, the generators, are the bulk of the population. The projectors are about 20% of the population, and in the town I live in, I think half the town are projectors. We get very little done, but we talk about doing a lot of things, and that's sort of what it comes down to. Reflectors, on the other hand, have well, as you see those colors within there. That means they have a definition. There's a definition in there, and they act a certain way. Well, a reflector doesn't have anything defined, which means that when they come into contact with somebody else, they take on the other person's characteristics. So I had a good friend who went off with a guru. He died now about 2 years ago, my good friend Bob. And he was a reflector. He had nothing defined was him. And as soon as this guru guy gets a hold of him, he winds up falling into the trap of being this guy's servant for the next 15 years. The thing about knowing your design, if you go to a website called Jovian Archive, you can put in and get a free design. Now, they used to send you a whole packet of information about your design. Now I know they send you the picture for sure, and you can go to another website, MyBodyGraph, MyBodyGraph.com, and they will do a reading of what this whole thing all means for you. If you have any interest in this, it's really interesting, and it gives you sort of a bit of a step up on how to proceed in life and how to present things so that they work for you and don't work against you. So that's it. 6 minutes on human design, living your design, a preliminary introduction. That's it. Peace, patience, persistence. We're off for now.